Mad Moxxi's Underdome Riot. Very interesting name, parodies right off of Mad Max. Once again, the Borderlands team decides to make a joke about that. It's the second DLC for Borderlands, and it's a very interesting DLC too. Basically, you face waves of enemies, and that's the entire concept of it. It's very simplistic, and a lot of games have been doing it recently, so it's very nice to see Borderlands give it a shot at it, and they do a very good job of it, better than most games I've seen do it. Basically, what's going to happen is you go and play one of the 3 maps that are offered, and you do 5 waves within a round. You got the starter wave, which is just a mix of, normal enemies, nothing too hard. Then you got the gunner wave, which is basically enemies with guns. You got the horde wave, which I find a lot of people are having difficulty with. It's basically just psychos. Yeah, nothing but psychos. Then you got the badass wave, which is basically 2 to 3 badasses and 2 of their minions. It's not that challenging. I mean, if you know how to handle badasses, you're completely fine. And then after that, you get the boss wave, which is basically you face some random boss with 2 of their minions. And it doesn't matter if you've already faced the boss or not. It doesn't matter. You face some boss from the main game, and then after you do that, you've completed 1 round. And then once you go into the next round, like round 2 or so on, they'll start applying these different effects to it, which vary from, you losing health slowly, and if you shoot someone you get more health, to certain types of guns being better than any other of the guns. So there's a lot of variety and different challenges, so it's very easy to say that the difficulty varies from now and then, but all in all, it's very enjoyable. One thing that does make this game really good and very much more of an enjoyable experience is the music. You gotta love the music. It's very upbeat, and it has this, it's very upbeat techno actually, that just makes you really pumped and ready to play the game. One of the biggest things that you'll notice if you play this is that the DLC is geared directly towards a multiplayer experience more than a single-player experience, because they have things like large amount of enemies, the variation in difficulty, and this thing called the penalty box, which is basically if you die during a wave, you get sent up to this jail or the penalty box where, and then you come back. During that time, you can shoot the enemies and help out your teammates. Unfortunately, if you're doing single player, it's automatically game over if you die. So right away, you can definitely tell that this is more geared towards multiplayer. Another thing I like to note is the maps. There are 3 of them, and they're each different in their own special way, and each have their own perks and cons to them. First, we got Hellburbia, which is basically a hellish version of a suburbia, as the name implies. You got some essence of Dr. Ned's Zombie Island in there, which is a very nice touch to it, to somehow incorporate one of the other DLCs. And then you just got some buildings within this very small area. Then you got Skull Galley, more geared towards people who like sniping, because you got Low Valley and then you got High Valley, and you also have teleporters, which only the players can use, enemies can't. And then you got the Angelica Ruins, which is a somewhat flat environment. Those are the different types of maps. Another thing that this DLC offers is this thing called the Bank, which is basically where you can store your weapons and items into a safe, and it's sort of just like, I have too many things, I don't really need to use these, so I'll just keep them off that side because I like them. That's what it's basically there for. And you can buy more room in your bank through the vending machines at the Underdome. Another thing that the DLC offers is an interesting character, Mad Moxxi. While you're playing this, she talks over, she's a hostess, basically, and she's hosting the event, and you quickly know she has this very self-centered, horror essence to her, but she's very funny. I mean, when someone says nom nom nom, it can quickly catch a laughter out of me, that's for sure. So overall, I give this game a 7.7 out of 10. It's very fun and enjoyable, and it's great to play with friends, which is the main focus, as I said. Unfortunately, the biggest downfall of this is its price. It is a very hefty fine to pay for something like this. This isn't the kind of DLC you get with Dr. Ned's Zombie Island, where there's quite a bit to the DLC. At first, it might not seem like there's a whole lot to it, but when you play it and you go through all the nooks and crannies, I guess we can say, you find a very enjoyable game, especially if you're more into the multiplayer proportion of Borderlands than the single-player proportion. So, there you go. Mad Moxxi's Underdome, Riot.